Good morning from Malta. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. Today I will touch briefly on Malta's perspective of innovation and its plans to leverage on technology. Technology, predominantly AI, DLT software, and even the convergence of these technologies within the financial services realm. We cannot talk about technological innovation without dipping first, however, into one of its main catalysts, that being the Fourth Industrial Revolution, our present and our future. This industrial revolution is a little bit different from its predecessors because of a combination of different factors. We have more integrated circuits, microchips, we have more memory units to store information, we have more networks to enhance communications, more software applications as well that provide direct link to consumers and the operators. This is also prevalent, very prevalent as a matter of fact in the financial services area. We have more sensor capacity as well that allows software, including artificial intelligence, to analyze, to have access to data which was previously only accessible to the human mind. These technologies, even though to a certain extent they are unrelated, when joined together, so when they converge and mesh together, they, however, integrate the physical with the virtual world. And we see innovative functions, the likes of automation, autonomy, disintermediation, decentralization, arising from these foundational technology, thus recreating and reshaping existing sectors like the financial services industry. These foundational technologies are definitely forcing us to redefine and change many of our laws and legal principles. Here, adequate policy, laws and regulations are necessary to enable the functioning of the new digital economy and to mitigate as well risks associated with the fusion of the digital and physical worlds and foster as well innovation. So we need to make sure that we tap correctly into innovation and we garner as much value and wealth as possible. Within this context, we're seeing that harmonization, particularly between different laws, different members in different nations, is key. Because we're speaking about digitalization, we're speaking about a borderless medium, services which are provided within a borderless medium. We're seeing a lot of unprecedented legal challenges, and this will only continue to rise. And this in many areas of laws. Why? Because foundational technologies are disruptive as well, and we're seeing disruptive changes brought about by these technological innovations. Just to mention a few, we need to clarify rights and obligations around digital assets, programmable money, tokenization, cryptocurrencies, having value or mediums or in software. You have wallets where you have blockchain, DLT, okay? Everything on a borderless medium and everything without human or with less human action and agency. So here we're redundant, we have to rely more on technology. That is where the problem lies, particularly when you have cybercrime, particularly when you have software bugs, particularly when you want to establish liability. To this extent, we started thinking about departing from our radical legal values to concentrate, to create something for this new reality. Whilst doing this, we noted as well that classical notions like freedom of movement of goods, people, services and capital, which served as the main pillars in the EU, are to a certain extent being shadowed by free movement of data. The latter is gaining more ground. With the framework we are building, we want to try to avoid just having a functional equivalent law. We want to create a policy, we want to create tailored law to cater for this new reality. We want to make sure that we have smart regulation in a converged landscape. That's why we created a specific authority for this, the Malta Digital Innovation Authority. And we have as well established two sandboxes, one for financial services and one for technology. I'll be touching on these very, very briefly. The first piece of legislation which is going to be mentioned is ITAS. Here we realize that within this digital environment, within this disintermediated arena, software is playing a vital role. It's found in practically anything we do. It's found in devices and gadgets, all applications, so even in IoT, which is used as well by the financial services industry when they use beacons, for example. And software being one of the main drivers as well behind financial technology, which is Fintech. Software which in the financial industry as well is disintermediating the human agency. So here we have through automation, through decentralization, whereas before the target of the regulation was the human, whereas the trust factor was tied to the human. Now these things are changing. We are redirecting everything towards the software. So here, with less human interaction, the software is playing a more pivotal role. So through ITAS, we wanted to create certification. It started as voluntary. We wanted to create as well an ecosystem where we can establish a new form of trust, where we can make sure that software can be made to be safe and apt for use, where you certify the blueprint, where this can be used as well as a tool, even though it is voluntary in nature, by other authorities, okay, particularly financial services. It could be health, it could be transport, where they mandate that, for example, software is certified for the particular licenses which are attributed. To this end, we have created specifically as well an authority dedicated for this remit. The authority initially used to cater exclusively for ITAS within DLT and smart contracts. We're expanding that, okay, because we're going to include IoT, AI, and other software, so other technology, innovative technology arrangements which might be used in other critical areas. We want to introduce the concept of certification. I repeat, even though it is voluntary, it can be mandated. Certification which will be the remit of the DIA and its auditors. Certification which at the end of the day will help establish that the software has been vetted by independent, a public authority. You address the code, that the software culminates, the application culminates into certification, where in the future we can establish as well better criteria for trust, because you can trust the software in that case. You can establish as well criteria for liability and responsibility, because you have certification. This will lead us as well as a platform to build a coherent AI strategy and ecosystem, where first and foremost we want to make sure that irrespective of decentralization, irrespective of any function and software, the human is always in control, is always central. So there, our first target is to preserve human rights and dignity. Then second to that, we want to foster innovation, user welfare, and market integrity. And all this within a balanced approach. So we want to make sure that the AI systems are safe, similar to other software, because at the end of the day, we want to cater for this new software reality, safe and secure, and made to comply with laws and rights throughout their operational lifetime. In this instance, okay, we are leveraging as well on a technology sandbox. A sandbox which will be run by the MDIA, where the MDIA can ask for more information if somebody wants to certify a particular technology. That can be AI, okay? And it will be a testing-based, a tested platform as well, which will culminate in certification. So here we have crafted a specific sandbox to assist the authority and the market participants for this innovative function. When speaking about Malta and financial services, we have to touch base as well with cryptocurrencies. Malta has been one of the first countries to tap into this area. So we created a specific VFA regime, which departs a little bit from financial services, still has MiFID principles, and it regulates and touches on all the services provided within the VFA regime. So it can be reception, transmission of order, dealing of government accounts, exchange, brokerage, ICOs, okay, operating as well wallet, because it's part of custody. And even here we have, apart from a very robust legislation, and we have catered for our AML rules, anticipating as well the 5th AML for this new paradigm. So we anticipated that as well. We created a specific fintech sandbox, which can as well include VFA, which can as well include cryptocurrencies providers. All this, in a nutshell, has been done because we're seeing that there's a strong dependency on software. There's a strong dependency on digitalization. There's a strong dependency as well, and we've seen this during the past as well. COVID pandemic, there's a strong dependency on this technology, with, at the end of the day, with its sheer and relentless speed, is leaving us there to just watch the innovation. We cannot watch the innovation. We need to be active actors in this innovation. We want to be active actors in planning our future. And we should never lose focus of our rights and roles. That is why we started creating a framework to build the pillars, to make sure that we are always there and we are always active actors. Thank you, and bye from Malta.